Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Simran, also known as Simz Moda, on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram. We do knitting, crochet, I show you my makes, sometimes it can be makeup, sometimes lifestyle, we'll see. But mainly at the moment it is definitely knitting and crochet. What I'm going to talk about today is my whips at the moment, things that I've frogged last year and plan on making this year in 2025, and also all of the yarn that I have and what I'll be planning to make this year. So stay tuned. Let's go through my whips at the moment, and right now in my little Bratz bag here is basically just a makeup bag, but I just use it as a whip bag. Can never have too many pouches. I have already started on my Maggie cardigan by Petite Knit. So the yarn I'm using is Valley Superwash Sport by Valley Yarns, Extrafine Superwash Merino wool. Go, and it's like a vibrant red, and I essentially started on this a while back actually, and I've joined in the round, but I've joined the body and I'm sort of knitting all the way down now to my desired length. Let's see if I can stand up and show you. So we're at like my waist bit, and I definitely want it quite long. So yeah, I've put the sleeves on hold at the moment, or armholes, and it is quite a bit of a long knit given that is on 3.5 millimeters. Yeah, 3.5 millimeters. So yeah, it's been on and off on my needles, and yeah, will be a whip for a while, and I am planning on hopefully doing like a project vlog on this, just to sort of get me to finish this. And yeah, I'm planning to make it long sleeves, even though the original calls for maybe like, is it slightly longer than a short sleeve, sort of like bicep length or something. And yeah, I definitely need a long sleeve cardigan, and this red one sort of matches my nails at the moment, so I've been loving a lot of red lately. So yeah, that's number one whip right now. Whip is in my little Grinch bag. Another vanity bag, and it was a holiday project. Well, I cast it on way before the holidays, but I worked on it throughout, sorry. And this essentially is a crisscross rib top. So I'm trying to find the front. So here's the mark for the front, and then the side seam or side, and then the strap, really long double knitted strap. And essentially, let me just do it for the sake of this here, where it just goes criss cross here, and then the other one will come from here and it will just sort of go across. And I've already sort of started documenting my mistakes and where I've gone wrong with this, and how to improve. The yarn I'm using is Coop Knit Sock Yarn, so it's kind of a very small yarn. Well, sock yarn is really thin in terms of small. So I'm using 2.5 millimeters for the double knit, and for the rib on the body I use 2.75 millimeters. And yeah, it was quite a toll on my hands, but definitely worth it because I like the way this turned out, although when I wore it, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. Essentially, rib stretches out, right? So when you wear it, it stretches, but this double knit doesn't really stretch whilst it's been attached on. It stretches like loosely on its own, and in fact this strap is too long, like 2 inches too long, so I'm gonna have to rip it back and sort of figure out a way on how to attach a strap so then it allows the amount of stretch that the rib gives, if that makes any sense. So yeah, a lot of troubleshooting with this, and I am documenting along the way how I'll fix it just for my own self, because this is the very first sort of pattern that I'm designing, and not a pattern but a design that I'm doing myself and not using a sort of pattern at all, just my brain, and sort of figuring it out. So hopefully I can get this done. And yeah, it's a project that's there whenever I want to knit on it. No need to sort of think about it and be like, oh, I need to finish it, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's definitely one that I'm just keeping on the side, and if I just want to work on it a little bit and use my brain a bit, then yeah, it's there. This is not a whip, but it's basically something that I've frogged, and I'm reusing the yarn to maybe make something else out of it, because I wasn't quite happy with the pattern that I used this yarn for in the first place. So yeah, I thought I'd just frog it and use it for something else, and I'll tell you in a minute what I'm planning to make with it. But here's the yarn combination together. And the yarns that I've used are Malabrigo Silkpaca yarn in the shade Paris Night. And then we've got Cascade Heritage yarns in the shade Navy, I believe. Must be navy. Looks blue. Or maybe it's black. I don't know, I can't tell. So yeah. And I made this swatch on, I believe, 3.5 mils, as that's what the previous pattern I used this yarn on for, and the pattern was actually the Utility Shawl by Jonathan's Days, and I absolutely love it. I'll probably insert a picture here or a reel of me like wearing the shawl. I love it. But it wasn't long enough for me, and I didn't want to sort of re-knit it knowing that, I don't know, it just wasn't something that I felt happy with. So I was like, you know what, Utility Shawl will be better in a different yarn, not something like this. And I feel like this yarn deserves to be in a different pattern. So I'm thinking of making a Maggie sweater by Lirio knits. So I've made one already in pink and in a cotton yarn, but yeah, and the original is a sport weight yarn, so fingering help with lace, or just single if it's like a very light DK. So yeah, this is my plan on making a Maggie sweater in this yarn. And yeah, the whole mold effect of the lace weight with the fingering would be so nice. And I am trying to sort of use Mohair this year, although I wasn't a big fan of it last year. So this combination is on my to-do to make my Maggie sweater. So I'll probably swatch for that in the near future. Gotta finish my Maggie cardigan first and then cast on for the Maggie sweater. Is so weird having two Maggies, but yeah, that's on my list. Now for some yarn that I have and bought but not really casted anything on, with the first one is this that I bought from Lidl. That's the yarn, sock yarns, and it's got 25% new wool superwash, 25% polyamide, so absolutely perfect for socks, like thick socks. And this is, I believe, DK weights, but I am planning to not hold it together, maybe hold it just single. Actually, I might hold it together and make myself some gloves, because look at that yarn. Oh my god, I absolutely love the colors. I love blue. Blue's my favorite color. So yeah, instead of socks, I am definitely gonna make some sort of gloves. I don't know if I want to make like the convertible mittens or if I want to just make full mittens. And I know by the time I sort of make it, it's gonna be warm, but at least I'll have it for the future, you know, for the next winter season. And sometimes in the office as well, actually, I tend to have really cold fingers, so I just pop them on. So yeah, that's another thing on my list. If you've got any pattern recommendations for any mittens or gloves, do let me know. I know Paul Soho has a free one, and I've seen Femme from the Mindful Creators post about it on her story on Instagram, so I might look into that and see if, you know, the gauge for that matches what I have. So yeah, that's another thing that's on my list. Gloves in this yarn. The next thing that I definitely want to cast on, which is like a summer project, in this yarn, which is Cascade Yarns Heritage, 75% Superwash Merino wool, 25% nylon. And that's the yarn. So pretty. And this is in the shade, oh, there is no shade, but it says 5623, which is basically their dark blue. And I'm planning on either making another camisole number 9 or the Lost Tank by Friday Knits. And yeah, I've been wanting to make sort of more tank tops and things that are basics in my wardrobe, essentially. So having a plain blue one would be so nice. So it's either the ribbed one, the Lost Tank, or the plain stockinette one that I've knitted before. If you haven't seen what I've made in 2024, I've knitted like a neutral coloured one, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So yeah, I've picked up this blue yarn in hopes to make one of them, but we'll see what I end up making. So yeah, another project that I definitely have on my mind is the blouse number 1. Now I bought yarn for this already, and I've spoken about this yarn before, and I still haven't casted it on, so I'm basically hoarding yarn at this point. And yeah, I bought the normal version, not the light version. I think there are 2 versions. So I'm planning to make it in this green yarn. It's almost like a khaki green. It's giving off grey or something. But this is the Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran Extrafine Merino Wool and Cashmere, which has got 55% wool, 33% acrylic, and 12% cashmere. It's really soft, but I can tell there's the acrylic in there. But yeah, I'm really happy with this color, and I think the blouse number 1 would be so nice in this. So yeah, that's another thing that's on my list. How many things have I got planned, and will I knit them all? That's the question. Right, the next thing that I am planning to knit is using, oh my god, now I did say that I am planning to use more mohair this year, or start to use mohair this year, because I wasn't a really big fan of it until I came across the Mindful Creators and her hand-dyed yarn. Oh my god, so I bought this I want to say 2 years ago. 2 years ago now, and I still haven't casted it on, but I have made a swatch for it. I don't know if I've got the swatch anywhere, but this is tie-dye guy, and it's in their mystical mohair base. And I'm essentially thinking of knitting a hoodie out of this, and you know, only mothers in the building, tie-dye guy hoodie, you know, knitted with the tie-dye guy yarn. And I'm thinking about using this acrylic yarn that I bought ages ago, having a white base. So this is the Women's Institute Soft and Smooth yarn. 100% acrylic, and I don't know what weight this is. The gauge for it is 18 stitches by 24, so I'm assuming it's like a DK or something. I can't tell. But I'm definitely gonna have to swatch and figure it out. But yeah, this and this to make the tie-dye guy hoodie. The pattern that I'm thinking of using to make this hoodie is actually from Knitatude, and the Hot Toddy hoodie. It's a hoodie that she designed for her husband, and every year she designs something for her husband, and basically for men's, but you know, obviously you can make it unisex if you wanted to, and I like that idea. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on making with that. I should have a swatch. Let me go grab it and show you. I don't have the swatch because I must have realized that I wasn't going to cast on for the jumper just as yet, but I'll probably insert a picture here if needed. And yeah, so that's my Hot Toddy hoodie using the tie-dye guy yarn by the Mindful Creators, which I'm super excited about. Another Mindful Creators yarn that I bought is actually one of my very first ones that I got from her very first collection. It's in the colour, let me just pull it up just so I can have that for reference, is called Woodland Wonders, and this is in her Soulful Sock Base, which I have used her Soulful Sock Base before. Absolutely love it. I used it to knit the Arconia socks, and the shade in that is called Arconia, so it was like the best. The Arconia socks is by Lirio Knits, and I'll put a picture here just so you can see what they look like in that yarn that I knitted them in. But yeah, here is Woodland Wonders in the Soulful Sock Base. I'm obsessed with this. Oh, so autumnal. That's when I bought it. I bought it when it was autumn. And that's when she released her yarn, all caked up, ready to go, but I just didn't cast it on yet. It comes with a contrast yarn, which is, I believe, like a beige colour. I don't know if she dyes it or if it's natural, but yeah, it comes with contrasting colour, not full skein. I think I want to say 20 grams if not mistaken, for like calves, heels and toes if needed. But yeah, I don't know if I'm thinking of making a vanilla socks just so the colours can speak for themselves, or do something with texture. It's definitely something on my mind, and I definitely want to get into the sock knitting era. I've knitted 2 pairs of socks by now, the Arconia, and at the moment I've got a sock and a half using Lang Jowl yarns in like the navy, and I'm just making like a pair of shorty vanilla socks on them. So yeah, I'm still new to the sock world, but I'm thinking of making more. I'm well obsessed with socks and have a full sock collection, so this is definitely one to be added onto that list, and I'm super excited to get cracking on some silks with this yarn. So yeah. Whilst we're on the train of using the Mindful Creators yarn, I've got like a whole stash of them to use up. Here is another Mohair, but I think this is Suri alpaca if I'm not mistaken. It's like a Mohair substitute, and I'm obsessed with this color, you guys. I wish I bought one more because I only have 2 skeins of these and I don't think it's enough to use it in anything. But here she is. Oh my god. This is in the shade Periwinkle. Oh yeah, you can see the color now. Oh my god, is that not beautiful? Absolutely obsessed. So I bought 2 skeins of these thinking maybe I would make the blouse number 1 light, or there's another pattern that I'm thinking about that I can't remember that uses only 1 strand of mohair, or maybe 2 strands of mohair, and it's giving blouse number 1 but a lighter version, and I just can't remember for the life of me what it is. I'll insert a picture here and I'll put like details of what it is, but yeah, I'm thinking of either making that, or actually I have this yarn that I unraveled, which is an acrylic actually. I'm not happy about it being acrylic. It used to be one of Stephen West's jumpers, which was the antler sleeve sweater, which has like cables coming down the sleeves and then obviously on the side seam. I wasn't too happy with that, and yeah, so I basically unraveled it, and now this yarn is just sitting in my stash doing nothing. It's basically this navy, which is Stylecraft Special DK in the shade Midnight. So I was thinking of holding this and this together and knitting the Eon sweater by November Knits. Now that pattern's been on my radar for so long. I absolutely love the split hem and like the longer rib on the body, and then the sleeves being straight, longer rib on the sleeves, and oh, this two would probably look so good together with it. But I'm gonna have to swatch. Ooh, there's a hair in it. Knit your own hair in your projects. And yeah, I'll probably swatch it first and then think about maybe knitting it. It might be a solo project, and then maybe this I might have to buy like something to pair it with, mohair, suri, I don't know, we'll see. But I think the Eon sweater calls for a DK weight gauge. I don't know, I'm gonna have to check. But yeah, that's on my mind to knit, and another thing on my list to knit this year, so we'll see. The last project, which is another frogged project, and it was a test knit that I did for Woozy by Celine, and her very first pattern, which is the Winnie sweater. And I used this yarn, which is Drops Air in the shade Purple Haze. So this is my initial swatch, and this swatch came out to be bang on gauge because I used 5mm needles instead of 5.5, which is recommended in the pattern. And when I was knitting it, I realized that the measurements were not adding up during the test knit, and then when it came to blocking I had to stretch it out. I'll insert a picture here of me wearing the Winnie sweater. I absolutely love it, and I was so sad to frog it because I was like, the sleeves are too short, the length is too short, and instead of sort of like frogging it to add length, I decided I'm just gonna re-knit the whole thing. I love the experience because it was just straight stockinette, no rib anywhere at all. And I've got the unraveled yarn here actually, I might as well just show you. So that's the yarn, Purple Haze, and this is a colour I would never like buy for myself because I just like blue and navies and dark colours, but projects like this and the Maggie cardigan are projects that get me excited to knit and finish the project and end up wearing it. So I'm trying to get into my colour era and adding colour into my wardrobe through knitting. And yeah, that's my plan for 2025, essentially, to make all of these things. There'll probably be more on my list as I see designers release new patterns or things that I see on Ravelry, and yeah, just being excited about all of these things to come. I hope you enjoyed my rambling about what I'm planning to make, and see if I make them. We'll never know. Never say never. I might just switch it up and knit things that are completely out of this, you know, goal. But yeah, I definitely do want to, you know, stick to it, use up all this yarn, because I already have it anyways, right? It's not like I'm buying anything special for them. So I've already got all of these quantities and using them up as I go. I think the only thing I'll need to buy more for is the Maggie sweater, using the Malabrigo and the Cascade combo. Using that combo, I might have to buy more, because I initially bought that yarn for the utility shawl, and I might actually cast a utility shawl using completely different yarn that, you know, I might buy from like the Mindful Creators or something like that, who knows. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If there's anything on your knitting list that you're planning to make this year, do let me know in the comments below. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.